From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Reading's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and what an active day it was out there yesterday. Once again, a lot of lightning strikes. Unfortunately, there were some dry lightning strikes as well. And I want to start off by showing you the watch duty map on where some of the fires that are being reported. Now, we're not really seeing anything east, save for Modoc County, Lassen, or Plumas County. So that's obviously good news because we did see a lot of lightning strikes there yesterday, especially in Lassen and even parts of Modoc County as well. However, we did see some lightning strikes, a lot of lightning strikes in eastern Shasta County, northern Shasta County, in Siskiyou, Trinity County. And you can see a lot of those orange dots or red dots that you see on the map there. Those are new fires that were reported sometime yesterday evening or last night. Now, none of them are very large at this point, but you can see that the lightning strikes that we did see yesterday, unfortunately, did spark some new fires. And the thing is, these are the ones that we know about right now. We may see some more emerge over the next 12 to 24 hours, or maybe even beyond that, from these recent lightning strikes. Now, keep in mind, too, we do have more lightning strikes in the forecast today and tomorrow, but I do want to stress it won't be nearly as active as it was out there yesterday or even the day before. Do want to remind you that if you want to check on the latest on any of these fires or any fires that should start, just go to weathernorcal.com, click on the fire danger section, and you've got a one-stop shop for all of the information that you need when it comes to fire information. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather headlines out there. And yes, we've got more isolated showers and thunderstorms here for today. But I will stress this, and again, I mentioned this just a little bit earlier, not as active as it was over the last few days. Now, we also are going to be looking at highs dropping below normal as we approach that 4th of July weekend, especially for the 4th of July. But today is kind of be this peak of a bit of a warming trend we've been experiencing. Kind of, you know, it's one of those things where it's been in the back of our minds because really our main focus over the last few days have been those thunderstorms. But now, of course, we know that the temperatures are peaking today, dropping over the next few days. And it looks like by next week, we're going to be talking about some bigger heat heading our way. More on that in our deeper dive in just a bit. But here's your Krueger's Quickcast for your Wednesday, July 2nd. Getting you out the door here for this morning. It's still fairly mild out there, about 80 degrees in the valley, foggy along the coast, temperatures low 50s there. But notice it's dry, right? But that is going to change for some of you later on this afternoon. And I say some of you because it's, again, not going to be as active. You can see all of the activity we saw yesterday. A lot of lightning strikes, a lot of thunderstorms, gusty winds, hail, heavy rainfall. There were severe thunderstorm warnings. There were flash flood warnings in Trinity County, even Siskiyou County. So it was definitely a very active day yesterday, but as I mentioned, not as bad out there for today. Let's take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center is showing for today. Overdoing it big time, folks, because I don't think we're going to see anything here. I don't think we're going to see much, if anything, for Trinity County. If you see anything, it's mainly going to be northern Trinity County, maybe southeastern Trinity County. The valley, probably not now. I'm seeing less and less. The forecast models are backing down on even that potential. But Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, Plumas, and even eastern Shasta County could see some of those thunderstorms. Now, as a result, the National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning mainly for eastern Siskiyou County and Modoc County. I think this is where we're going to see most of the activity, but I still think there could be some activity in eastern Shasta, Lassen, and Plumas counties as well. So do know there still is that potential for dry lightning for many of the areas in the eastern mountains. So let's take a look at futurecast for today. Number one, you'll notice we have that fog along the coast. That should burn off in some areas like Del Norte and southern Humboldt County later this afternoon. Not much in the way of any activity just yet by midday, but through the afternoon, there we see that afternoon convection. Now we're starting to lose that direct flow of that moisture being streamed in from the area of low pressure, bringing in that monsoon moisture. But we still have some of that leftover moisture now, and that's what's going to give us a chance for those afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up. So you can see, not as widespread, not as active, but northern, eastern Shasta County, eastern Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, Plumas counties. And, you know, you can even see here out in western Tehama County, the potential for some activity popping up as well. But you'll notice really nothing really popping up here for the valley. Now, could we see a stray shower or even a thunderstorm pop in the valley? It's not 100% out of the question, but I think the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer as we see these later forecast models come in. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Today, you see most of us off to the north and east, and we're kind of seeing things begin to dry out by the time we get into tonight and going into tomorrow morning as well. So here's what we have in store for us today. Again, the peak of the warming trend is today, especially in the valley, with highs around 100 or just above that. 103 for Redding, but Chico about 100 degrees here. Now, where you see the lightning strikes, northern Shasta, this might be overdoing it a bit here for, say, Shingletown, Manton, but you can see in the eastern mountains, Modoc County, and into Siskiyou County, that's the best chance for thunderstorms for today. I think Trinity County, I think for the most part, you're going to be okay. I don't expect to see any thunderstorms for you here this afternoon, with the exception of maybe extreme northern portions of Trinity County and maybe southeastern as you get into western Tehama County as well. Here's your 7-day forecast for the valley. We've got plenty of sunshine. Temperatures dropping by the 4th of July, about 90 degrees, give or take. Yeah, 90 degrees. That's not bad for the 4th, especially when you think of 4th of July's in the recent past, right? Well over 100 degrees. But there you can see temperatures will be increasing back up to 100 degrees or higher by the second half of the weekend and early next week. Dry for the coast, inland, and again, I put a slight chance in there, especially for northern Trinity County here. Otherwise, I do expect to see those dry conditions and cooler for your 4th of July. Thunderstorms today continue for Siskiyou, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains. I'm keeping that chance in there, and an even better chance for places like Modoc County for your Thursday. And then some models, and we'll take a look at that in the deeper dive forecast, want to keep that chance for places like Alturas, for example, on Friday, but for now I'm going to take that out of the forecast, or keep it out of the forecast. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast. I do want to just give you a heads up that there's a free 24-hour streaming channel you have access to. WeatherNorCal.com, the free Weather NorCal app, Fire Stick, Roku. Search for Weather NorCal in those app stores. And anywhere YouTube is available, including your smart TV. If you have a YouTube app on your smart TV, you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. And the YouTube app allows you to watch the latest video forecast as well, like the one you're watching now. All right, here's a look at your fire weather forecast as we go into our deeper dive, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. There you can see the fire weather alerts, the red flag warnings, right? Eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc County. As I mentioned earlier, I think we could see some dry lightning in these areas as well, but western Siskiyou, Trinity County, the chances are going to be much slimmer for any activity out there for today. Let's talk about the winds, because yes, we may see that elevated fire weather risk in the valley, not necessarily because of dry lightning, but because look at these winds. We're talking 25, close to 30 miles per hour. That's a little alarming, but again, nothing terribly unusual for this time of the year. Still a little breezy here for your Thursday morning, but looking at the humidity levels, they're still going to be rather dry. Now here you can see here, there we're looking at Thursday afternoon. Once again, we're getting in that 30 to 30 mile an hour plus range here as we go into your Thursday afternoon, but then they kind of start to die down again here for your Friday morning, and even Friday around midday, not that bad. So here's the relative humidity levels. You see how we're down into the mid-teens or so. So again, not as dry as we typically can be, and one of the reasons for that is the fact that we still have some of that monsoon moisture in place. So it's felt a little bit more muggy than we're used to. I mean, even not as dry off to the east as well. Then we go into your Thursday afternoon. Once again, not as dry as we typically are, but it's still dry nonetheless. And you can see not as bad off in the eastern mountains either. And then this just goes through midday on Friday, but you get the idea. We are working our way towards another dry, typical dry day over Northern California. All right, so here's the big picture. We're not seeing as much of a broad ridge of high pressure in place. It's peaking today, and you can see it right here. That's the ridge of high pressure peaking. But you see right here, this is a trough of low pressure. This has got cooler air associated with it and a little bit of instability as it pushes through to the east here. That will do a couple of things. Number one, drop our temperatures down by a few degrees over the next couple of days, especially by your 4th of July, but it will also help to still tap into a little bit of leftover moisture from that monsoon moisture that this area of low pressure has been tapping into. A few days ago, it was off for a west west, and it's been slowly migrating eastward to where it is now. The flow around that low has been tapping into the monsoon moisture here. That's basically subtropical moisture rotating around that and transporting it into northern California. But as we go through the day today, that low pressure begins to weaken and move on out of here. That's why as we go into Thursday, this right here is the cooler air. This is also going to help to maybe bring a chance for a few more isolated thunderstorms in Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and parts of the eastern mountains as well. But then by the time we get into Friday, through the weekend, and through next week, we're watching this area of high pressure right here because that's what's going to be building into our region by the middle of next week, and that's also going to bring with it much warmer temperatures. So instead of those 90-degree readings in the valley that we're expecting on the 4th of July, how about more like 105 or so going into the middle of next week? Now, as I mentioned, I think the Storm Predictions Center is overdoing it here. I don't think we're going to see anything for Del Norte Humboldt. I don't think we're going to see much, if anything, for Trinity County or western Siskiyou County. Valley, probably not. Maybe western Siskiyou, western Tehama. But eastern Siskiyou, Modoc, eastern mountains, including the Bernie area, could see an isolated thunderstorm today. Tomorrow, that mainly gets confined off to the north and east, although I think we should also include parts of Siskiyou County as well for tomorrow. And on Friday, the models just want to keep lingering around the Modoc County, northeastern Lassen County, but for now I'm not counting on this. We'll take a closer look at that here as we get closer to Friday. But for now, I'm taking that chance for thunderstorms out of the forecast for Modoc County. There's the fog along the coast this morning that persists at least around Eureka, but around Del Norte County and southern Humboldt County, you're looking at some clearing. There's the thunderstorms popping up. Couple of things you'll notice. Number one, not nearly as active as what we saw yesterday or even on Monday. It's going to be more in the way of isolated thunderstorms popping up. So as you can see here, western Tehama County, northern Shasta into southern Siskiyou County, eastern Siskiyou County, Modoc, eastern Shasta County, around Bernie, Lassen, and Plumas counties, seeing that activity here. Then, as we get closer to the evening hours, most of it is off to the east. But I want to point out, you see what's going on here? Now, yesterday evening, if you watched my forecast, you would have seen that it was showing some pretty strong thunderstorms around the Redding area, between Redding and Red Bluff. That at this point has been taken from not only this forecast model, but the HRRR forecast model as well, kind of backing down on that potential for the valley. But you can see here, a little too close for comfort. So yes, if we see a stray shower, maybe even an off chance for a thunderstorm for the north end of the valley, don't be surprised. But for now, I'm keeping it out of the forecast as most of it will be off to the east. Then by tonight, we are drying things out. All right, so Thursday morning, it's a dry start, fog along the coast, and there it is. This is mainly going to be confined into Modoc County and Lassen County. But I do think as we go into Thursday afternoon, we could see some activity pop up here for parts of central and eastern Siskiyou County as well. And then by Thursday night, it's all pretty much done with. And then we go into your Friday. There's that fog, by the way, developing along the coast. This takes you to Friday around midday. Now, will be interesting to see if this model picks up on any thunderstorms here for Friday afternoon. So be sure to check in on Coffee with Krueger when the latest forecast model data comes in. And on the noon update, we'll see if there's any activity at least this model's picking up on. But even if it does, we'll see. For now, like I say, I'm keeping it out of the forecast here. So let's switch gears now and talk about our temperatures, because I do expect temperatures to be cooler for the 4th of July. This cooler air here in general is what's going to be riding to our north. Now it's going to, you see here, move a little bit closer to us by the 4th of July. That is going to allow our temperatures to drop below normal for this time of the year. We're talking around 90 on average for the valley. That is absolutely wonderful for those of you that want to be outside all day. And of course, much cooler in the mountains and even along the coast. Now, that moves out and we've got bigger heat coming into next week. We take a look at Sunday. Watch this right here over the Four Corners region. That area of high pressure is just going to continue to slowly build in our region through next week. And by Wednesday, that ridge is really building in. And this is when temperatures could get upwards of 105 to 106 for some of the warmer locations in the valley by the middle of next week. So what we're going to start to see happen is this. We're going to start to see this warmer air come back down over Northern California. But for now, we're keeping in that near normal category, as you can see here, dropping down to the low 90s by Friday, near normal here, especially by Monday. But as you can see here, as we go through next week, it just gradually starts to increase. In fact, by Thursday, Friday, you're talking about 105 to 106 out of the Redding area. So yes, that typical summer heat is going to return by next week. Here's a look at your latest lake levels here as of 4 o'clock this morning. There you can see we're still seeing those minor drops, although a pretty significant drop here over the last 24 hours out towards Lake Oroville at just a little over a foot drop here in the last 24 hours. The wave height's still a little high here for today, but I do expect that by tomorrow those wave heights will start to drop, and that means the small craft advisory that we have for today should be allowed to expire later on this afternoon or evening. Winds from the north at about 15 to 20 knots, your waves from the northwest at 7 feet at about 9 seconds. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mainly in the 80s and 90s for your daytime highs. I'm including the word chance. Could we see some activity at Trinity Center? Not out of the question. Weaverville? Probably not. Hayfork? Probably not. Down to the south into southern Trinity County? Probably not. All right, so that's what I'm expecting. I don't expect any rain or thunderstorms for anywhere in the North Coast, including the inland areas here for today, tomorrow, Friday, through the weekend either. Temperatures do drop, though, down to the low 80s for the inland areas on Friday, back in the 80s to 90s by the weekend. For Siskiyou County, here's what we've got here. I would say that basically east of I-5. I think that's where your best chances for thunderstorms will be today. Places like Fort Jones, Etna, Happy Camp, probably not much in the way, if any, thunderstorm activity here. Meanwhile, take you out to Modoc County, Tule Lake, 89 for Canby, 89 for California Pines. All right, so temperature is still warm. Thunderstorms today, thunderstorms again possibly tomorrow, and then Friday, I'm taking it out of the forecast. I'm not going to put it in there, but some models do indicate that by Friday we could still see some activity for especially, say, northeastern parts of Modoc County. Otherwise, for the eastern mountains, you're going to be looking at thunderstorms today, possibly even lingering into tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, I would say mainly Susanville northward for tomorrow. South and west of that, most likely looking at drier conditions. For the valley, temperatures getting warmer, about 100 degrees here for places like Corning, Durham, Chico. Temperatures do start to drop, though, down to the upper 80s. Yeah, upper 80s in July for the valley. I don't think I hear anybody complaining about that. Excuse me. Here's your 7-day forecast for Chico. Yeah, 89 degrees on Friday for your 4th of July. And then temperatures low to mid-90s for the weekend. All right, we take you up north. 103 for Redding today, 102 for Cottonwood, 102 for Red Bluff, 98 for Whiskeytown. There you can see Palo Cedro, about 104 degrees, and Lakehead, topping out at about 97. All right, so here's a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. See, these temperatures are dropping. I mean, we're down to 91 on Friday. I mean, again, 4th of July, Friday, looking gorgeous, right? And then temperatures will start to increase again, though, as we go into the weekend, back up to around 100 by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon for your latest forecast. Have yourselves a great morning.
Construction season is well underway in the North State, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.